this morning, and it's always surprising to me how many people say nuclear. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's always, yes. Since I was like 7 years old, I say, it's unclear to me why people say nuclear when the word is obviously nuclear. Just say nuclear. Yeah. And now we're talking nuclear weapons and bunker busters and Iran and President Trump back home from Canada. America's had a day earlier than expected. There's a lot going on in the world, and the Democrats and mayhem and shooting and killing people. It's almost like there's some kind of a wacky thing going on here in the United States. Am I wrong?
Here comes the Chris Plant Show. It's going to be like a nuclear bomb.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 9. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Matthews. A former Coast Guard lieutenant accused of making threats to kill President Trump.
Prosecutors say Peter Stinson of Oakton, Virginia, identified as a member of Antifa, and for the past 5 years, posted threats to social media. Some saying he'd pitch in to contract a hitman to kill President Trump. Others suggesting he'd, quote, pull the trigger himself or be the getaway driver. Stinson has a detention hearing on Wednesday.
7 News' Jasmine Stiles. This is primary election day in Virginia.
You will not be voting for a gubernatorial candidate since there's only one running from each party. Democrats have more decisions to make than Republicans. They'll be choosing among a field of 6 candidates running for lieutenant governor and 2 for attorney general. There's no Republican primary for those races because candidates are running unopposed. Democrats in 9 House districts and Republicans in 8 will be casting votes. The only local race in Northern Virginia is for Arlington County Board Chair. 7 p.m. is the deadline to put absentee ballots in drop boxes. Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
And the polls close at 7 tonight. Tara Jackson proving to be a valuable utility player for Prince George's County. The acting county executive who stepped in back in December when Angela Alsobrooks left for the U.S. Senate has now been tapped to become the county's acting state's attorney when Aisha Braveboy is sworn in as county executive later this week. Jackson, who had previously been the county's chief administrative officer, had also worked as a prosecutor in the state's attorney's office when Alsobrooks had that role. There are a lot of jobs to fill in the county at the moment. Braveboy is already looking for a permanent school superintendent, and Police Chief Malik Aziz is a finalist to run the police force in Phoenix. For the first time in 16 years, trains on every Metro line are now available for automatic train operation.
Metro returned automation to the blue, orange, and silver lines yesterday. It had already brought it back to the red, green, and yellow lines in recent months. Now, even when using automation, it is not unusual for Metro to switch back to manual on bad weather days, also for other reasons like when they're handling really crowded events.
7 News' Tom Rousey. Metro says automated service makes the trains run more frequently. Montgomery County wants to offer displaced federal workers first dibs on county job openings.
We unanimously voted to recommend expedited Bill 10-25 as amended by the committee to the full council.
That full council votes today on the bill that adds fired feds to the hiring preference list for county jobs, alongside disabled residents and veterans.
The bill responds to federal workforce downsizing efforts by the Trump administration by offering our local support to those impacted, helping us attract skilled professionals and motivating them to remain in the local workforce and in the county.
Once approved, the bill would sunset in 2 years. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
Their parties are bitter rivals, but 2 Virginia members of Congress from swing districts are working together to get cell phones out of classrooms. Democrat Eugene Vindman and Republican Jen Kiggins are co-sponsoring a bill in the House that would provide federal grants to school systems that impose bell-to-bell cell phone bans. Another bill would require Defense Department-run schools overseas to adopt the same policies in their classrooms. Vindman and Kiggins, both veterans with large military constituencies, have teamed up before on bills to protect military spouses from federal return-to-office policies. Checking your money, the Dow futures down 230 points, NASDAQ futures down 115. Traffic and weather next.
My name is Georgios Setis. I'm the co-founder of Nutrafol. My hair started thinning in my early 20s. I tried everything and nothing was really working. So we created Nutrafol. Our hair growth supplements undergo clinical trials and have helped millions of men and women get visibly thicker and stronger hair in just 3 to 6 months.
Hair growth starts from the inside at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com.
Get a competitive edge in the workforce. Earn your degree from Jefferson Community College, where a variety of online offerings, in-person and hybrid formats, along with 8 and 15-week classes, allow for the most flexible schedules. Apply today and choose the path to unlocking your potential. Choose Jefferson. Fall semester begins August 25th. Visit sunyjefferson.edu to apply. Jefferson Community College. Your future starts here.
When you get hurt at work, Carruthers and Clough goes to work for you. They're researching, interviewing, gathering facts, and doing all they can to help you get back on your feet. They work and you recover. You can focus on getting healthy and returning to work because Carruthers and Clough are doing the hard work for you. Ask a friend, ask your family. Who would they call for help with workers' compensation? Carruthers and Clough. Go to nylawcc.com and contact Carruthers and Clough. We work, you recover.
Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Late rush hour for many. In fact, 395 northbound slows before Boundary Channel across the 14th Street Bridge had the earlier crash near Main Avenue. A lot of bailout traffic off of 395 onto Washington Boulevard heading over toward the Memorial Bridge. Southbound George Washington Parkway after the Key Bridge, we still had some crash activity. Heading out of Kensington, Connecticut Avenue slows before Beach Drive. That goes off and on down toward East-West Highway and out of Hillendale, New Hampshire Avenue. Southbound is jammed to the crash just inside the Beltway. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast. Late rush.
We'll have some patchy fog ending this morning, widely scattered showers, possible thunder this afternoon and a high of 83. Chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight with a low of 70. 68 right now at Reagan National. I'm John Matthews. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
Today it's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. That's what these people want. They chant death to America. So we're doing something that is in the service of mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. America should and does stand with the good. That's what President Trump is doing, and I deeply appreciate his support.
Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, on ABC Fake News yesterday, after doing a long interview on Fox News over the weekend. The battle of good versus evil. For how long have I been talking about that? For years now. This is the eternal battle of the darkness versus the light. Israel, in this instance, representing the light, as you might imagine. Iran, the Ayatollahs, the savages of radical Islam, representing the darkness, death, mayhem. And Benjamin Netanyahu said, the United States is with, well, the Democratic Party is not. They're not with the light. They genuinely are not. They have become just a part of the darkness on planet Earth. They're not with us. They're out rioting and looting and firebombing. Do you see the funny moment where a lefty threw a big firework out of his car with his gal pal in the passenger seat, and passing by, dude passing by, grabbed the firework that had just been thrown out of the car by the driver in the front seat, and the passerby threw it back in the car. The two passengers, who are obviously lefties throwing fireworks around, jumped out of the car and ran away. They were fine, but the car blew up like it was a war zone, because the Democrat Party, they're the left, and they bring the third world with them everywhere they go. That usually involves creating a war zone. That war zone in this case is the United States of America. Speaking of which, President Trump returned from the G7, the G7 gathering in Canada, America's hat, America's largest national park, Canada. They call it Canada because it's where Canadian things come from. But Canada, the president was there, and he said, I'm going to go home early because there's a lot on my table, and I need to get to the Situation Room and places where I can have secure communications, because there's a lot of talk right now that maybe the United States of America and Donald Trump will drop a couple of bunker buster bombs on a particular nuclear facility inside of Iran, maybe 2 nuclear facilities buried deep underground, hundreds of feet underground, to be protected from bombing, because, they're very interested in doing medical research with enriched uranium. The Democrats will tell you they're trying to cure cancer. Or what else are they trying to? Energy. They have more oil and gas than any group of people on the country on the planet. And they're really not worried about global warming or climate change. And the Democrats tell us, no, it's just for legitimate, peaceful purposes. And that's a gigantic lie, a really huge Joseph Goebbels style lie, immense lie. And it kind of goes back to protecting Barack Hussein Obama, who cobbled together, along with Boltneck, John Kerry, cobbled together the most awful nuclear deal in the history of nuclear anything, because they're not on our side. They're, Barack Obama and Boltneck, they call themselves Democrats, but they're not very democratic at all, are they? They're not. They cobbled together what they cleverly called the JCPOA, right? They call it the JCPOA. It's a plan of action. It's the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. That's what they call it. And said, but we'll abbreviate it, and we'll call it the JCPOA. I think they have JCPOA pajamas that they wear, flannel pajamas. Hey, I got my JCPOA pajama. And that allowed Iran to continue to enrich uranium at deep underground facilities. And the Democrats are so stupid. How stupid are they? That they said, oh, yeah, Iran wants to enrich uranium and spin centrifuges by the thousands at deeply buried underground facilities, hundreds of feet below rock beds, because they're interested in medical research. They're interested in energy. And apparently these people are so dumb that they bought into it. Either that or they're just not on our side at all. And I don't think they're that dumb. Nobody's that dumb. Nobody that can sit up and take nourishment and drive a car is that dumb. So it must be something else. Might be the Hussein, that might be the whole explanation of the whole thing. Just don't bring it up because you're a racist, because they think that the word Hussein is a race. They're not a smart bunch of people. Speaking of crazy Democrats, they are everywhere. And there's another story today you may have heard on the news already. A now former Coast Guard officer has been charged because he has been threatening to murder Donald Trump for years now, which was okay during the Biden administration because the FBI was out sleeping with Iran or something like that, and Antifa. But this Coast Guard guy, he's an Antifa person. They claim they're anti-fascist. When it comes to the left, that means they're the fascists. They always like to tell you the opposite of the truth. And so that's good. And this the news reporting on it is almost comical. The CBS fake news story on it. Former Coast Guard officer charged with threatening to kill President Trump. And he's been threatening for years, and he's an Antifa guy, and he's a former lieutenant in the Coast Guard, and he was trained as a sharpshooter there. I think we saw that in Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 1 year ago, didn't we? When President Trump was shot through the ear by a Democrat who he still had, who was that crook from the FBI yesterday, saying that he was a registered Republican, failing to acknowledge that the Democrat Party had insisted that all idiot Democrats register as Republicans so they could corrupt our democracy by voting in the primaries and voting for the Republican that was most likely to be defeated by the Democrats. But it was not Christopher Wray, but Andrew McCabe on CNN, because they hired him. So here's another one now. A former Coast Guard lieutenant and sharpshooter has been arrested for allegedly making threats to kill President Trump. That is, having a plot to murder President Trump. He's they let Democrats in the Coast Guard because, they you never know. You might need a Democrat every now and then. Maybe they need a suicide bomber or something like that. So a 19-page Federal Bureau of Investigation affidavit lists scores, I tell you, of alleged social media threats by Peter Stinson, who served 33 years in the United States Coast Guard, never rose above the rank of lieutenant. 33 years in the United States Coast Guard through 2021. Also served as a Federal Emergency Management Agency instructor, FEMA. So the social media posts quoted in the charging documents, which spanned from 2020 to 2025. Yeah, what was going on during those years? I think the Democrats controlled the Justice Department and the FBI. And the posts during the Biden administration and 2020 during the campaign year include online statements suggested using a gun, a knife, and poison. How very Russian of him. Hey, Rasputin, over here, what are you doing? Against Mr. Trump. A knife, a gun, poison against Mr. Trump. In several cases, Stinson allegedly said he didn't have the skills to kill Mr. Trump himself, but CBS just described him as a Coast Guard sharpshooter. But pay no attention to that because the 2 paragraphs later, they conflict with the top of their story because it's just good journalism. Didn't have the skills to kill him himself, said he was willing to serve in a support capacity or raise money for a, quote, contract hit. The Democrats, they're not really go-getters these days, are they? Not do-it-yourself kind of people. But here's another one, another Democrat plotting to kill President Trump, apparently for 4 years during the Biden administration. And that was no big deal to Biden's Justice Department, the man who would serve on the Supreme Court, but thankfully did not. Prosecutors allege that Stinson made a series of menacing social media posts last week, including on Wednesday, writing, "When he dies, the party is going to be huge." Y-U-G-E, little Trump funny. When he dies, the party is going to be huge. Yeah, it's going to be like 1861 all over again. Dimwit. Stinson was charged making threats against the president on Monday afternoon. That's yesterday. A federal judge ordered Stinson to be detained pending further hearings in his case in Virginia. Sure, investigators said that Stinson has self-identified as a member of Antifa. CBS News says a loosely affiliated political movement, short for anti-fascist. It's a terrorist group founded in Germany in the 1920s, and maybe it was the 1930s. And the Democrats have picked up this German terror group, and they passed it on to their kids because they wanted to kill their kids in the first place. What's the deal with that? Stinson's defense attorney declined to comment to CBS News. Isn't that great? And then the CBS News said, well, people threaten Biden too. Yeah, not really. Don't worry about it though. Aren't they amazing? Your Democrat Party. Yes, sir. That's your Democrat Party today. They are Antifa. They are Hamas. They are Iran. They're funders of Iran, defenders of Iran. They're the ones that created a framework so that Iran could continue to enrich uranium and spin centrifuges deep underground, could continue to advance their ballistic missile program, and plot to wipe Israel off the face of the map from the river to the sea, as Democrats now chant in large numbers on college campuses across America, especially Ivy League campuses, but not exclusively Ivy League campuses. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, so we've got that going for us. And this guy, Antifa, and how many years to become a lieutenant? That's a lot of years. Maybe he started as an enlisted guy. Somehow I doubt it, though. And again, President Trump cut short his G7, the group of seven, trip to Canada. Claims something much bigger than Israel-Iran ceasefire is in the works. Much bigger. And that's got him going. The news people stayed up all night biting their fingernails and stuff. So we've got that. And at the same time, there was a tweet that I'll get to. But one of the headlines we have from the New York Post Sobering footage shows massive traffic jam as thousands frantically flee Iran, with Trump issuing ominous warning, quote, "You're going to find out," end quote. Now, that's interesting stuff, but and President Trump, can make the world jump and then explain later. And everybody says, oh, okay. But never mind that. Bunker buster bombs and Iran's Fordo nuclear facility. Here's what you need to know by the Associated Press. They don't have everything you need to know, but I'll share with you the interesting and fun points about the bunker buster bombs and all that good stuff. 30,000-pound bombs. But again, the Iranians dug hundreds of feet under rock shelves, their nuclear facilities. And Barack Hussein Obama said, why would that be a problem? That's the world leading state sponsors of terror. That shouldn't be a problem. Let's just go ahead and let them do that. In fact, let's give them plane loads of cash, pallets of cash, shrink wrapped of euros, not even American dollars, because they just don't like the United States of America. Barack Obama, he was mentored by a communist named Frank Marshall Davis in his teenage years, and it really took. It certainly did. And the war going on in Israel and all that good stuff. My friend Matthew Foldy got out of Israel a few hours ago, and is headed back to the United States of America. I look forward to hearing all about his fun in the underground bunkers and stuff when he gets back. But also there in bunkers was Bruce Jenner, also known as Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner flees Israel after being forced to hide in bomb shelter in face of Iran attacks. What? Bruce Jenner? Yeah, he's fled. He's on his way back. See, he likes to call me she. Like now, I still remember you waving the American flag, winning the decathlon. So you'll always be he to me. Always be him. I know your pronouns, even if you don't. Got that stuff. And this is a fun one. I wish I could show it to you. I'll describe it real good instead. Driver lights firework during Riverside protest, gets it tossed back into his car. He's going to need a new car, I'll tell you that much. It was a big firework. He's throwing it at people because he's a Democrat. And at the Dodgers baseball game, what are they singing the national anthem in Chinese now? Oh, we got Chinese news, too. We got plenty of Chinese now. The Chinese tampering with our 2020 election. And the FBI knew all about it, but they kept it a secret from us because they're the FBI. What does that stand for again? I can't say that here, can I? We're at 888-630-9625.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Virginia Beltway, we're still jammed interloop from 66 to get you past the crash after the toll road before the Georgetown Pike along the right side. 270 southbound bunches up out of Rockville to join onto the outer loop to get you past River Road. Getting better out of Hillendale. The crash southbound New Hampshire Avenue just inside the Beltway has cleared. Heading to the town, the freeway, we are still jammed each direction off the 11th Street Bridge and 14th Street Bridge heading toward the 3rd Street Tunnel. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com.
Hey, Mary Bernie, I have a cooking lesson for you. On YouTube, I don't know. Let me type the word retard and see what it does. All right.
It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread.
See if it fucking posts in my own chat. It does, retard. All right. That is a cooking term. You want to retard the dough because you want it to grow and be mature. Okay. You got to let that shit rise. So if you go and you buy donuts, all right, whether cake donuts or yeast raised donuts, there is a difference. All right, there's two types of breads. There's quick breads and there's yeast raised breads, and that's it. Cookies are quick bread. Banana bread is a quick bread. Anything leavened with anything other than yeast is a quick bread, including biscuits. So you retard the dough because you want to be, especially if you're making pizza. You want to let it proof all the way. So if you buy donuts and you can still see the cut marks on it from whatever cut it, on the yeast raised donuts, they didn't let it proof enough. And they need to proof. The more they proof, the lighter the bread is going to be, the softer the bread is going to be.
22 greens on a single charge, all without any hydraulic fluid or operating emissions, and virtually zero sound.
I hate to tell you, Mary Bernie, but if I decide to lie, I'm the best liar out here. You won't know it until afterwards.
The key under your welcome mat, the security camera that isn't a real camera, the guard dog on duty sign, when everyone knows.
I should do a cooking show, and all I really, if I had a countertop mixer like what Mary has, she doesn't realize the things she can make with that.
Don't settle for safe-ish. Get ADT.
Because she's not educated in it. All she does is buy boxed food, and she's going, I'm making cinnamon rolls, and she breaks out fucking Pillsbury. Nothing better than a homemade donut. Fresh out of the grease, nice and hot. That's the best. Any food, especially fried dough, because that's all donuts are, is fried dough. I love cake donuts. They're easy to make. They're messy, but they're easy to make. Because they're quick bread, you don't have to wait for them to proof. You mix the dough, you beat it up a little bit. All right, if you have a hopper, you put it in that. If you know how to handle it on a cutting board, cut them out. I've made a lot of cake donuts.
Is bringing a new energy to the course. The lithium-ion batteries power it to mow more than 22.
I drew KMO out last night, Patrick. I hope you're not KMO, Patrick. I hope that's not you, Patrick. If I find out you're KMO, Patrick, you're in fucking world of hurt. You know that, right? Patrick, answer me.
Our muffins are cooked and our services, well, we're here. Come on by for an average cup of joe.
Only reason Dougie has a wrench is because he came up here and visited me for a third time. JC knows I treat her the same way. I hope not. Because he tweaked JC's, he tried to tweak her last night, right? He's no Billy Hayden. He's an idiot.
If you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis.
I haven't been cloning JC. I haven't been attacking JC.
Talk to your doctor and visit COPD.
And we've been trolling a little bit. I've blamed her for some trolls. Coffee Man's kind of fucking backed off a little bit. He doesn't post at me as much.
All right, let us Michael, go to the telephones. People want to talk about.
All right, phone calls.
There's war in the air. There might be U.S. military.
Oh, you did?
In the air. President Trump coming back a day early from the.
Oh, Wiggin had his way. You wouldn't have been able to watch it. He wants me to delete my streams.
All right, now let's go.
I'm not.
Telephones, Michael. Let's go to Kevin, calling from Frederick, Maryland. Kevin, you're on the Chris Plank Show.
And I'm a big fan and a Trump supporter, just to give you a little bit of my background.
Okay.
But I have a question for you.
Yes.
So if Israel is our greatest ally, why is it that they have never sent any troops to fight alongside us in either Iraq war or the war in Afghanistan?
That is a fair question. That's a fair question. And I would, there are a number of different ways to answer it, I suppose. And I'm not, I wasn't on the joint staff during the either one of those wars. But Israel it's a small country with a small population and a small army that is generally busy protecting themselves. That said, if I remember correctly, Israel did bomb, now this is back before our Gulf War in 1981, an Iraqi nuclear facility close to Baghdad. and blew it up with airstrikes. And we were certainly part of that conversation. Now, that was 1981. It was a long time ago. Ronald Reagan, early nuclear stuff. Now, they also provide intelligence, and I know that they have provided intelligence because they're good at that. And they have people, Afghanistan, maybe not as strong, but Iraq, they had a presence and probably still have a good intelligence presence in Iraq. But you're right, they don't send numbers of ground forces. They have very good special operations forces that might be helpful during small unit raids to rescue hostages and stuff. But Kevin, you'd like to see Israel in there wholeheartedly.
Yes, I would like to see them help support us, with more than just intelligence.
Yeah. All right. I understand, Kevin.
This is the Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. 66 commuters eastbound pushing slowly toward the Beltway, but the crash is now moved to the shoulder. Once on the Beltway, that inner loop is still bunched up from 66 heading over toward the Georgetown Pike. They were able to move the crash from the right lane. Narrow shoulder there, bit of a distraction still. 270 out of Rockville jammed to join onto the outer loop, and through town, the freeway still hung up each direction. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Cloudy with showers and thunderstorms possible today, high 83. Showers and thunderstorms overnight, low 70.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose Rumble.com today.
I'm Brent, and I've been on Nutrafol for almost 5 years now. When my hair first started thinning, I wanted to attack the problem head on. I liked Nutrafol because it was a hair growth supplement that was completely drug-free. After 3 months, my hair got stronger and thicker, which gave a huge boost to my social life. I mean, it was life-changing, to be honest.
Hair growth starts from the inside at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com. Real customers.
Why are you here, Alvaro? What do you want, you little fucking punk? Look at you little boy. What's the matter? Shannon's not giving you enough? Alpesh Patel isn't giving you enough? Tony? Alvaro, I've known all along you and your little army is right in with Alpesh Patel. Tony, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody. You guys are fucking pathetic. Bunch of fucking middle-aged men. You guys should be at work. Every fucking day you fuckers are in here. I'm retired. And I've got enough time in the pond to be in fucking doing this shit. And you can thank Wiggin. He talked me into going live. I didn't really want to do it. I mean, I thought about it. Yeah, sit here and dream. I could be a fucking millionaire doing this if I fucking put the effort in it. Sorry, Alvaro, it's not working, boy. Your girl Shannon lost last night because Tammy supports that shit. Because Shannon is a Trump hater also. Yep.
No more complications.
No panel. No, you don't rate coming up. Only certain people rate coming up here to interrupt my fucking radio program. You just sit there and fucking listen to the news. This is the real news. This isn't Axios or MSNBC or Mother Jones or The View or fucking Jon Stewart. I don't get my news from fucking late night comedy because they're fucking idiots. We have better comedy here than they do on Saturday Night Live and all them motherfuckers. Last night, JC's fucking channel was golden. I brought all those people there. Just because I let EQ and Empress Chinchilla and Gotti up on my panel, the all caps crew.
Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of
Rusty isn't the only historian out here. Sorry.
I never gave up on my dream.
Wiggin bragging about his memory. Wiggin, remember when you admitted you fucking have a hard time keeping up with me? You did. Not many people in here can keep up on the typewriter. I don't even use the voice to text. I fucking type. And if I do use the voice to text, then you guys are even more slow. Yeah, Patrick, that was golden right there. See, you're going to pick that fucker apart. Tammy's fucking out there. Then you got Patrick Rowe up there waving that fucking straight edge, but he wants me to go to my VFW and acknowledge that he called there and gonna give me a 50. Just fucking put it on a tab. He thinks that it ain't no fucking he didn't talk to shit. Oh, his name is Chris. He probably did call there, the stupid fucker.
WMAL, making sense of the forecast because you never know what Mother Nature has in store. Download the WMAL.
Oh, Vero, it sounds like a personal problem. It's her stream. JC gets to do what she wants over there. You don't see me trying to tell her what to do. It's pointless. But she had a good time last night, and KMO hit the nerve, brought back some memories, thinking about her dead husband. I was right about KMO from the beginning. That motherfucker got so mad. Was he the first one I cloned? It was either him or Wyatt Chukka. I don't know, whichever one. I got a feeling that Andy 504 is related to Wyatt Chukka.
Yeah, liberals, they just had their No King, whatever it was, idiot rallies. The biggest rallies in the history.
Nothing you can do about it, Alvaro. Your army is useless.
And then liberal yesterday.
All caps crew kicked you guys right in the nuts last night.
And we had 8 million people protesting not a king. Now, a fun story from 2012. Liberals want Obama to be a king, not a president. I'll share that with you. Right now, let's go back to the telephones, and I've got plenty to share. President Trump to share with you today. What's going on with bunker buster bombs and maybe dropping American bunker buster bombs on Iran? Is that in the works? Is that why President Trump came back from Canada? I've got Benjamin Netanyahu for you as well. Oh, and Kamala has emerged. She is, she's some, she's not president. That's good. We'd be in the midst of a global thermonuclear war by now, I think. We had, and I've got Sean Spicer and lots of good stuff for you today. So stay right there. Let's go back to the telephones, Michael, because smart people want to talk about this stuff at 888-630-9625. And on the line, we have our old friend, Monty. Monty is on the line from Columbia, Maryland. Monty, very nice to see your voice.
Well, thank you very much. That you do remember me.
Of course.
I am one of every day I listen to your program, every morning.
Well, thank you very much. That's great. Now, Monty, you're originally from the Empire of Persia, the country of Iran.
Yes, I'm from Iran. I fled from Islamic regime that was forced on Iran in 1979 by President Carter and Democrats.
That's true,
this
isn't it?
I'm not saying that just because I want to say it. It's the declassified CIA records in the Library of Congress. Everybody can go see them.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter was not standing up for civilization because he was what we called a liberal Democrat. And they don't understand the meaning of the word liberal. And I don't think they understand the meaning of the word Democrat. Isn't it amazing?
Well, that's why the Democrats are always supporting the regime in Iran.
Tell me why.
Well, the reason is that they established this regime in Iran. This is their policy. It's their ideology. Listen, Iran is 5,000 years old. 5,000 years, we have never in the history of Iran has never attacked anybody. Everybody has attacked Iran, like the Russians, the British, everybody. But Iran and Israel, the Jews and Iranians have been friends and buddies since 539 BCE, when Iranian Emperor Cyrus the Great saved the Jews from slavery and helped them go back to Jerusalem and paid for the reconstruction of Jerusalem. Iranian and Jews have always been close friends. That's why Netanyahu always said, we don't want to hurt Iranian people. They are our friends. They're decent people. It's the regime.
And there was always a Jewish population inside of Iran. Even I think a tiny number may still remain now, but certainly through the fall of the Shah in 1979. And you probably heard me talking recently, Mani, that I encountered young Reza Pahlavi, the technically the Shah in exile, the son of the Shah, Reza Pahlavi. And I encountered him at Newsmax TV a couple of months ago. And spoke to him, had a nice conversation with him about the big picture. Got a photograph or two with the Shah in exile, Reza Pahlavi. A very nice man, good guy. I met him once in Santa Barbara decades ago too. But enough about me. You're right. 5,000 years of Persian history. And here's another crazy thing that you will be aware of because you're a very smart and educated person, Mani. And that is that Iran, the name Iran, because they're Persia, the Nazis, that is to say the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler, came into Tehran in the 1930s and said, hey, you guys should be with us, right? Because we're the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler. And they said Iran, the name Iran has to do with the word Aryan, right?
No.
Yes.
Well, actually, the word Iran in Sanskrit was given to the country by Zoroaster. Iranians were Zoroastrians before Arabs attacked our country and established Islam. But Iranians were Zoroastrians. Zoroastrian is good thoughts, good words, and good deed. This is what Zoroastrianism is. Zoroastrian goes to 4,000 years ago. Some people say 4,500 years ago. Anyway.
Well, let me.
Language, Iranem means the land of hospitable people in Sanskrit. The name of
Let me jump forward a little bit to today. And let me say I love Persian food everywhere you find it. But and there are more and more Iranian restaurants around here too. But that said, Mani, there is talk on the table today that the United States may get involved in maybe using B-2 stealth bombers to drop a couple of bunker buster bombs, giant 30,000-pound bombs on underground Iranian nuclear facilities. And Israel, it looks like, is kind of tapping on our window and saying, hey, would you guys do this for us? Because we can't get to this underground facility, a couple of underground facilities. And do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea for the United States to get involved directly and militarily?
Well, I can't tell America what to do for their policy. If they think it's necessary. But those mountains are not, as long as it's not killing people and destroying Iranian civilization, whatever has been left over from all the attacks that we have had.
Yeah.
So Iran was not in Europe, but we were attacked, and millions of Iranians were killed during the World War I and World War II, and we had nothing to do with anything.
Right.
But because we were in the southern Russia, So they had to come from Persian Gulf and drive through Iran from south to north to get to Russia to support Russians against Germany.
Yeah.
So and so as long as people are not killed, as long as the cities are not destroyed, if they are in the mountains, go ahead, tear them down.
Yeah, and that's where they are, and that is where they are. Yeah, and also Iran had oil supplies, and those armies needed fuel at the same time too. And the way the Germans thought they were going to conquer everything, and that's why they were in Iran in the first place, because of the fuel and the importance of the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Gulf. So we had that too. So real quick, Money, because I've got to move on to the next thing. But what are we going to see happen here?
Well, I am hoping. All Iranians are hoping. I was talking to my cousin who's in Tehran now, and all kinds of my relatives live there. My friends live in Iran, in Tehran, in Shiraz, in all the cities. Shiraz is a city of poetry and love. Iran is a decent country. But anyway, what I want is to have peace. And I think that President Trump is a decent man. He doesn't want to kill anyone. He doesn't want to destroy anything. I know that. That's why I voted for him twice. And
not three times, only twice.
I know what his wisdom goes.
You know, he ran for president 3 times.
Well, I voted. Well, the third time. The middle time, I voted for him also. But that time it doesn't count because he didn't get into the White House.
It's true. It's true. Now, I tell you, I'm also hearing that the Ayatollah may be in failing health. Have you heard that?
Well, yeah, they have been saying that forever.
Yeah.
But, even if he dies, I don't think that anybody is going to talk about it.
Right.
They're going to hide it because they want to do. Let me tell you one other thing, if I may.
Sure.
Do you know that Islamic regime, the regime in Iran, has been selling oil, 2 tankers, great big tankers of oil a day through
to China,
through Indian Ocean to China.
Right, to China.
And not only that, this is their young sons who were educated abroad. They are now stealing everything from Iran, and they have done pipelines from Iran through Afghanistan to Pakistan, selling gas to Pakistan. Right. And the money doesn't go to Iran. It goes all to the children of Khamenei and the rest of them.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, it's good to be a corrupt leader. Yeah, I was like in Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, the late terrible socialist leader that destroyed Venezuela. His daughter is reportedly the wealthiest person in the country, worth about $5 billion. And she never did anything. She worked a lot of overtime, down at the Chuck E. Cheese. Now she's got $5 billion. It is amazing. Money, any final thoughts? What are we going to see happen?
Well, I hope that President Carter supports Netanyahu, because Israel and Netanyahu are friends of Iranian people, and they know what to do. I trust Netanyahu and I trust Israel.
Wow.
And with the support of President Carter.
Of President Trump.
Supporting the people, the opposition.
Of President Trump. The support of President Trump.
Yes.
Yeah, you said President
Netanyahu
Carter.
and Trump.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Support our friends.
Yeah, we were talking about Jimmy Carter earlier. All right, Monty, listen, God bless, and please keep in touch with your family in Tehran and beyond, and feel free to report back when you learn things from your family there, would you?
I will. Thank you very much.
All right, Monty, thank you. Thanks very much. Nice to hear your voice. Monty and I have been talking for many years, been calling in since I think since I had a late night radio talk show. Now, let me get, because Monty mentioned voting for President Trump twice and then 3 times. But here's a story that just broke from the good people at Just the News, John Solomon's organization, a real news organization. And here's the headline. FBI gives Congress intel, that's intelligence, on alleged Chinese plot to create fake mail-in ballots in 2020. What's this? This is when Joe Biden won the presidency and the Chinese communists were involved, and the FBI just gave Congress the intelligence on this that the FBI had been holding close for the last 5 years. Isn't that amazing? I got to tell you, the FBI a lot of these people need to be called up before Congress. And waterboard. Oh, speaking of which, I'm wearing my "I'd rather be waterboarding" T-shirt today, right now. So we should definitely be waterboarding some of these people. Newly declassified intelligence. It was kept classified by Christopher Wray and Joe Biden's Justice Department. Newly declassified intelligence report partially corroborates, but was recalled before it could be fully investigated, officials say. And what did it fully corroborate? Well, FBI Director Kash Patel on Monday, that's yesterday, on Monday evening last night, turned over to Congress an intelligence report raising concerns that China, Communist China, friends of the Democrat Party and the Biden family, China had mass-produced fake U.S. driver's licenses to carry out a scheme to hijack the 2020 election with fake mail-in ballots for Democrat Joe Biden. Wow, isn't that amazing? That's the lead sentence of that story. I want to get into this with you because the FBI has been keeping it a secret from us, the corrupt Joe Biden Justice Department, the corrupt Joe Biden administration. But now John Solomon and his team at Just the News have gotten the news off of Capitol Hill because FBI Director Kash Patel declassified documents and turned the documents over to Congress. Whenever you give anything to Congress, it automatically goes public. Usually that's good, but maybe not always. If Adam Schiff is involved, for example. But I will share with you the news, the documents, Senator Chuck Grassley and the Chinese communists tampering with our 2020 presidential election on behalf of Joe Biden and the Democrats because they know communists when they see them. So I've got more for you on that, an amazing story. Thanks to John Solomon and Just the News. We are at 888-630-9625.
Hey, what did the job pay? Nothing. Don't! Unless you're crooked. Woohoo!
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. You still need extra time on the Virginia Beltway Interloop Jam from 66 heading toward the Georgetown Pike. New crash was reported in that area. Outer loop slows coming off at 270 heavy out of Rockville. And this is all to get past River Road. Heads up on the Baltimore Washington Parkway into Laurel now for the crash. Northbound between 197 and 198. Seeing delays in each direction. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Cloudy with showers and thunderstorms possible today. High 83. And showers and thunderstorms overnight. Low 70.
Sponsored by Rumble. Want to join 59 million others who are tuning in to a fresh alternative to mainstream news and information that isn't delivered with an agenda? Enjoy your daily dose of happenings from a platform that fights to protect your free speech. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play Store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
Blowing out your birthday candles should be easy, but if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life. If you have symptoms like wheezing or chronic cough, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
John Deere's 2775 electric triplex mower is bringing a new energy to the course. The lithium-ion batteries power it to mow more than 22 greens on a single charge without any hydraulic fluid or operating emissions and virtually zero sound. Plus, you can monitor everything from the palm of your hand thanks to the John Deere Operations Center Pro Golf platform. Visit an authorized John Deere dealer to learn more.
Sponsored by Rumble. Want to join 59 million others who are tuning in to a fresh alternative to mainstream news and information that isn't delivered with an agenda? Enjoy your daily dose of happenings from a platform that fights to protect your free speech. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google.
Oh, you fuckers. Wow, fucking, I'm sick of you, Google Play. I don't fucking want it.
140, 130.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Shop sweet savings at Whole Foods Market. Get red cherries for $4.99 per pound with Prime through June 17th. Bring a bag to your summer picnic to share with your friends. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Are you a parent of a child with disabilities who desperately needs a break? Then you need to know about Jill's House. To find out more, visit our website, jillshouse.org.
WMAL, making sense of the roads, because traffic doesn't always follow the pattern. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
All right, Michael, let's go back to the telephones once again and talk to the great American people. And that includes people from all over the world. Like Monty, for example. All right, let's go to Greg, calling from Rockville, Maryland. Gregory, you're on the Chris Plant Show. Greg. Where is Greg? Hey, Greg in Rockville, Maryland. Going to you. What has he done? That's great. Let's go to another telephone call. Let's go to Robert, calling from Waldorf, Maryland. Roberto, you're on the Chris Plant Show. Hey, what's going on? Are phones causing us fits? Is there a volume thing or something like that? Robert in Waldorf, Maryland. Isn't that crazy? That's nuts. All right, now we're going. Let's see if it's us. Let's go to Rachel, calling from Clark County, Virginia. Rachel. Hey, there's Rachel. Rachel skydiving. Rachel, you're on the Chris Plant Show. Wow. All right. I think it might be us. It could be that we have a technical difficulty. Might be the Communist Chinese or the NSA with permanent bureaucrats, Democrats there. Amazing stuff. Isn't that great? All right. Well, it's one more try. Let's one more try. Back to Greg. Greg in Rockville. Greg, you're on the Chris Plant Show. One last shot. Yeah, we've got technical difficulties, as it would appear. All right, so we've got that going for us. Well, we've got a lot going, and I've got to get back to this wonderful story, which I'm going to do right after the news at the top of the hour. FBI gives Congress intelligence on alleged Chinese plot to create fake mail-in ballots in 2020. You know, the Democrats won the mail-in ballot vote very strongly, very handily. The mail-in ballot vote. Now, were the communists in communist China involved in perpetrating a fraud inside the United States of America? How many tens of thousands of illegal alien Chinese flowed in across our southern border during the Biden administration? They're not on our side. But Key, I want to update you on the Chinese tampering in our 2020 election on behalf of the Democrats.
WMAL-FM Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. As President Trump urges the people of Iran to evacuate from Tehran, the airstrikes between Israel and Iran are becoming much more one-sided.
We saw in the early hours of this morning was a dramatic decrease in the intensity of the missile barrage, as opposed to hundreds of missiles and drones coming at Israel from Tehran. What we saw this morning was 20. Now, 4 of the missiles got through, and they hit the Israeli town of Herzliya, which is just north of Tel Aviv, but no injuries. An Israeli military official said that the latest barrage of missiles was not impactful. What has been impactful is the Israeli strikes into Iran that have been impactful. The number 2 in Iran, the wartime chief of staff, Ali Shadmani, was killed.
Fox News' Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. The president flew back to D.C. from the G7 summit in Canada early this morning. On the flight back, reporters asked him if he had spoken with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz concerning the violence against 2 state lawmakers and their spouses.
I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked now. I'm not going. Why would I go? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and cold, but why waste time?
It's not clear whether the president plans to speak with the families of the lawmakers who were impacted by those shootings. The former Coast Guard officer who qualified as a sharpshooter and national security expert in the service is now accused of threatening to kill.
Shit. Billy! Oh my god. Come back, Billy. We make a wish come true. He does.
John Duh there, what's his name, whatever, the fucking dork and Dirk and fucking guy that pretends to play guitar, he's demanding that I shave my beard.
Oh my god, you look like you look like Santa Claus. Yeah, just keep it. Don't cut it off. Keep it.
Thank you. That's the only reason I come up here. I'm taking a poll for myself. I know, I see it.
He looks better with a beard.
I'm good, Wolfie. How are you?
Fine, Billy. Billy, you want to know something? You know this green tea royale that came on?
Did you watch last night?
No. It was Wolfie. You know this green tea royale? It was Wolfie that
Oh, you're cloning green tea.
I didn't want to give you away. I had a feeling it was you. So now the secret's out, and
it's like when you're the Quakers, what is it?
Hey, our friend Angela on Long Island says she might be pregnant. She was gonna do. I don't know if she'll call. Friggin' Angela, yeah, she's got acid trip all bent over her. She might be pregnant, so bless her. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean might be? Is she not certain?
It ain't your child, Vader. That's all you need to know. I am live right now. I was listening to, so.
I don't really. When you're on screen, you don't see it, do you? Like you have to put on this thing. I know Billy's smiling right now. He's happy.
I can see it in his cheeks.
Yeah, he's got his two angels here.
Thank you. I was just gonna ask. Are you guys still my angels?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a good time streaming. I'm going to get back to my place and do my thing, and maybe later, whatever. So the truth is out there now. It wasn't Gotti. That's why Gotti come up on my panel, asked me to go to JC's. I think he knew it was you. That was the first thought in my head. I didn't want to give it away. And there sat EQ. It's hilarious.
I don't know, like, no hard feelings, yeah?
No, yeah, it's all good.
This fine gentleman's gonna give me that piece of material.
No, yeah, you,
how many of you go into Home Depot and get stuff for free?
Well, we try to help out when we can.
All right. I'll text you, like, you want to get a message for the time being, we can, like, fulfill one. You gotta check the drag when you're reeling in the past. Check that song out by Tom Petty. Fine.
All right, take care.
And that is Billy. Oh, Billy, I'm glad.
Zenny, you're beautiful.
Oh, so are you, Billy.
And
I appreciate you a lot, you know.
I caught. Well, now we can blame Wolfie. She caused what happened on JC's last night because Queen T went fucking ape, didn't she? Holy fuck! I can still hear chimpanzees screeching and fucking climbing up trees and shit.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. Yeah, I saw her just.
I was asleep. You know, I didn't sleep for 2 days, right? Maybe I was telling you, then I had a proper sleep. I was like, oh my god, I went to sleep early. I was so tired.
Vader, why are you calling yourself nuclear?
Yeah, because I'm always gonna be nuclear, right? And
You do realize New Crew started at my chat, right?
You kind of like.
Well, I kind of like welcomed you guys in, and you all got your start there.
Billy's part of my crew because Billy came to my channel.
That is true. So I'm under their thumb. Yes. Yeah. Wolfster was very gracious to me in her chat with the wrench and all that, and I didn't abuse my wrench.
No, of course not. You never did with the wrench.
I gave Billy a wrench and you also support me, remember, with the music and stuff.
And I had every right to clone Zenny and go into Mary Bernie's chat that day. The first post, she put a wrench on that. Didn't know it was me. I've done some great troll jobs. Wiggin doesn't like to hear about them either.
Billy won't do that again now, but yeah, like I got in trouble. I'm like, what? I said that wasn't me, it was Billy. And I think Mary knew it was you, because Mary was like that. Because the thing is, you always say it's you. You will never say it's me. So that's one thing. There's no sure signature, right? There's no it's Billy.
I probably should get back to my chat. Fucking Acid Drip's probably spamming it like a motherfucker. All right, Zenny, thanks. And hey, King Rob, hello to you. Have a good day. I'll see you guys later.
Just to let you know, working, so that's the reason why he's been busy and stuff. He says hello to you as well.
He's probably busy working. You gotta work.
No, he is.
I'm sure King Rob has a job and work. So.
No, he has. I'm not joking, Billy. He's got, he's been really busy with his new job every day.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
I'm proud of him. Hi, Tiffany. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, he hasn't been in chat, so obviously.
No, he hasn't. He's been busy working. Yeah, I'll just let people know that he's not been around. And I don't think he will be around for a while.
Tiffany has my handle blocked that I'm looking at your chat with. Tiffany's mad at me. So, all right, Zenny, thank you. And if you need me, you know where I'm at.
Okay, I'll come and visit you.
Vader, I'll pray for you, Vader. I hope your life gets better.
Oh, see, that's nice. That's nice. See, Billy's being reasonable. Like,
yeah, I appreciate that, Billy. Yeah, for sure.
All right, try not to be delinquent.
yeah, true, I agree. See how Zenny brings everyone together? Vader?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. Are you gonna?
See, I bring everyone peaceful together. You see that? You even said that to me earlier. I think before yesterday or something. You said Zenny's
Again,
trying to bring
Democrats, they
everyone.
don't really know who to turn to when it comes to learning. Learning is not their thing. A new Gallup poll released this week in 2012 found that President Obama's support among liberals was at its lowest point in 7 months, although it's still a solid majority of 70%, because they had like 104% because they're a cult, very, very cult-like. And they literally did think that he could slow the rise of the oceans by the wave of his hand. The thing is, this guy goes on, and he says that there's a bit of a problem. Barack Obama is not a king. He's the president of the United States. For those who may have forgotten the Schoolhouse Rock cartoon about how a bill becomes a law, Congress needs to first pass a bill before he has any chance of making it law. Our founding fathers, he's going on, and all this stuff. First, set up a government structure requires the president to engage, had to explain how it works. President Obama is required to navigate through myriad vested interests and exercises going on and on. Thus, as opposed to a king, a president has to engage in activity that some on the left view as a dirty word. That wicked word is compromise. And this guy's supposed to be a comedian of some sort, but isn't amazing? This guy is going on and on about how what liberals really want is a king and not an elected president. To me, he says, the liberals who are so very disappointed with President Obama had either unrealistic expectations for him. You got to make excuses because, the Democrats, just amazing stuff. These people are really demented, and they've wanted a king all along because they love the state. And a king gives the state total authority. And that is what the left demands. That's why every left-wing country is a dictatorship everywhere in the world. He says, to me, liberals who are so very disappointed with President Obama had unrealistic expectations for him, viewing him as a messianic figure who would magically solve all of our nation's woes, or simply refuse to grasp the reality of our American political system. Well, that's true, too. That's why they firebomb everything, especially the Jews. Have you noticed that? In either case, the answer is the problem is not Obama, it's you. Isn't that amazing? Well, Barack Obama may be far from perfect, and I, too, have been disappointed with some of his decisions. I certainly prefer him to a king. This is the CNN article. It's clear that many liberals speaking out don't want a president, they want a king, albeit a liberal king. Oxymoronic though that may be, they get their information from Hollywood for the most part. But still a king, he says. who would be unrestrained by Congress as well as the checks and balances enshrined in our Constitution. And this is CNN, but didn't they just have their No Kings rally over there? And liberals are telling us now that there were 8 million people protesting across, this is what they're saying, across the country. And that the President Trump rally on the Mall with the 250th anniversary, the birthday of the U.S. Army and the parade, a liberal actually told me yesterday, there were 8,000 people there. There were way over 100,000 for sure, maybe a couple 100,000. I was there myself. The liberal that told me this was not there. And liberalism is a mental illness. It truly is. Just amazing. Like the Coast Guard officer and sharpshooter who has now been arrested for plotting to assassinate President Trump. And apparently the FBI knew about him for 4 years during Biden, but didn't do anything about it because Democrats, isn't that amazing? Now, let me get to the next big story, because this is a big story. I just thought the liberals want Obama to be a king, not a president. Pretty funny headline on CNN from 2012, given they just had a No Kings rally over the weekend.
It's good to be the king.
It is good to be the king. Now, the story breaking all over the place today. FBI delivers intel to Congress on alleged Chinese plot to interfere in 2020 election. FBI Director Kash Patel forked over a trove of documents to Congress detailing an alleged Chinese campaign to meddle in the 2020 election that involved thousands of bogus U.S. driver's licenses. I think every teenager, every college student now has a really good fake ID if they want to get into bars, right? Because now on the internet, thanks to the internet, you can get really incredible, great fake IDs. A lot of people had fake IDs even before the internet without getting into particulars. But now the internet creates, and the Chinese certainly know how to make fake IDs, fake driver's licenses. They've been smuggling in tens of thousands of Chinese across our southern border during the Biden years. But listen to this, back to the New York Post now. Precise details about the alleged effort are murky, but a confidential source alleged the Chinese, the communists, plan to use those licenses for thousands of mail-in votes to benefit former President Joe Biden. A spokesperson for the FBI hunt show explained to the New York Post. Authorities had caught wind of the alleged plot around August of 2020. August of 2020, before the presidential election. And the FBI had caught wind of the Chinese plot, and we never heard anything about it for almost 5 years. But intelligence reports on it were recalled for reasons that aren't fully clear, because, I have to check on the permanent bureaucracy there in the deep state. The spokesperson added, U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized almost 20,000 fake licenses around that time. Biden won the swing states of Arizona and Georgia by more than 10,000 and 12,000 votes, respectively. So wait, he won Arizona, a border state, by a margin of 10,000 votes, and the Chinese were putting out tens of thousands of driver's licenses to get the mail-in ballots. And Joe Biden won a couple of key states and became president. And Trump's margin of defeat in Wisconsin was more than 20,000 votes. 20,000 votes. Kash Patel declassified the intelligence report and sent it over to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, the Iowa Republican, for additional vetting. The FBI has located documents which detail alarming allegations related to the 2020 U.S. election, including allegations of interference by the CCP, Kash Patel revealed on X. That's your, Chinese Communist Party, the Communist Party in Communist China. I have immediately declassified the material and turned the documents over to the Chairman Grassley, for further review. Anytime.
You guys said I spoke the truth box, so then I'll apologize. Shut up, bitch.
And pushed for the Bureau to revisit the matter. Thanks to the oversight work and partnership of Chairman Grassley, the FBI continues to provide unprecedented transparency at the People's Bureau. Kash Patel told Just the News, John Solomon's great organization, which first reported his story. To that end, we have located documents Chairman Grassley requested. Specifically, these include allegations of plans from the CCP to manufacture fake driver's licenses and ship them to the United States for the purpose of facilitating fraudulent mail-in ballots. Allegations which, while substantiated, were abruptly recalled and never disclosed to the public. Well, that sounds like the Biden administration and the permanent bureaucrats at the FBI. I got to tell you, I don't think most people should go to prison for almost anything, but, killing people and guns and things like that. But these people should actually go to prison. If you are concealing from the American people information about the Chinese communists engaged in a large-scale presidential vote fraud scheme, and you guys keep it a secret from us, and it's buried half a decade later now, somebody should get a serious rap across the knuckles. A somewhat new confidential source had tipped off authorities to the plot to the extent to which the FBI took any steps to counter the scheme at this time, not fully clear. Looks like the FBI didn't really look into it. Aren't they something? How can that be? And Just the News breaking the story. Their ties to Capitol Hill and Washington, D.C. Good for them. Kind of a big deal. Stealing presidential election. But the Democrat Party, and that means the New York Times and CNN, they're happy because Biden won. And he was severely brain damaged. But so are most of them. So it, hand, meat, glove. You know that the big wireless companies are pulling over a big one on us.
12:22.
To switch to consumer cellular is right now. Listen, I switched to consumer cellular. Now I get the same fast, reliable, nationwide big wireless coverage without the big wireless money associated with the bills that they send you. But it's not just about saving money on my phone bill every month. It's about not being used and abused by the big cell phone companies. Do you even know how much data you use every month? You know that most people over the age of 50 use less than 8 gigs of data every month, but big wireless, they want to shove you into an unlimited plan and charge you a lot of money because they need you to cover the cost of people that are 20 years old and use 10 times as much data as you do every month. A little redistribution of wealth scheme. But consumer cellular set you up with a service and a phone as they did with me.
Yeah, I'm going to brunch.
Easy to switch.
I'll come back later, everybody.
Based right here in the United States, not on a space platform. Real human beings, imagine that, who are helpful. It only takes about 20 minutes